how the Trumps turned an election victory into a cash bonanza. This went out on Valentine's Day, February 14th. In the Wall Street Journal. I'm sure there'll be a lot of fun stuff in here. It kicks off when Amazon.com founder Jeff Bezos dined with Donald Trump and his wife and Melania at Mar-a-Lago in December. There was a lot at stake for both men. Bezos, a titan of industry whose company is crucial to the U.S. economy, was rebuilding his relationship with a resurgent and powerful soon-to-be president. It was a lot was at stake for Melania, too. She was looking for a buyer for her documentary about her transition back to First Lady. Her agent had pitched the film, which she would executive produce, to a number of studios, including the one owned by Amazon. As the meeting approached, Melania consulted with director Brett Ratner on how to sell her idea to the world's third richest man. Melania regaled Bezos and his fiancée, Lauren Sanchez, with the project's details at dinner. Just over 2 weeks later, Amazon, a company that prides itself on frugality and sharp negotiating, agreed to pay $40 million to license the film, the most Amazon had ever spent on a documentary, and nearly 3 times the next closest offer. Wow.
And to put that in perspective, the Obamas sold the rights to their books for $65 million.
Okay.
After the 8 years.
After the 8 years.
So,
and those were the book rights?
Those are the book rights.
I feel like book rights could potentially even bring in more if it's a presidential memoir, because it's like everyone is going to pay $20 for that. Whereas this, it's like, yeah, you might sign up for Amazon. I mean, the bull case for this is like there are a lot of conservatives who have not historically subscribed to Amazon Prime because it's been a lot of Hollywood, like elite, like left wing content, right?
Yeah, but also if you want to buy stuff online, it's some of the best value.
Yeah, that's true.
If they're so anti-Bezos that they're like, no, I want to pay, maybe, I mean, some of that demographic is possible.
Yeah.
Is
why would
more
I
than
buy
happy with the
supplements on
Walmart.
Amazon when I could go to InfoWars shop?
Yeah.
And get some alpha
market tests.
Okay. Who knows? Well, Amazon's certainly happy to have it. Netflix and Apple declined to even bid. Paramount made a lowball $4 million distribution rights offer. Disney, the most interested studio behind Amazon, offered $14 million.
Yeah, and so this is like where people
like
are
kind of overpaid.
Yeah, this is where people are going to say this is borderline corruption in the sense that the market clearing value for this, Amazon could have paid $14 million and $1 basically.
Yeah, probably
to sort of win this
so.
deal. But they felt the need to pay two.
But they might not know because it might be a blind auction. So they might be thinking, oh well, like Disney's going to
deals of this size.
I'm surprised Disney went so high. I would expect maybe Netflix to go for it or Paramount for sure going for it. But Disney, what is this going to be next to like Mickey Mouse and like you know Toy Story? Like this, this doesn't feel like a Disney show to me. It feels like it's going to be
people would say people might position this as Amazon paid $14 million for the film, for the rights to the film, and $26 million as to gain the favor of the king.
Potentially.
Who knows?
People might say that.
Some people might say that.
We licensed the upcoming Melania Trump documentary film and series for one reason and one reason only, because we think customers are going to love it, said an Amazon spokesman.
The first mentality that Bezos.
The first lady's cut is more than 70% of the $40 million, according to people familiar with the matter. And they're still looking for more. Melania's agent has been trying to sell sponsorships for the film. Let's
TV
go.
Coded.
You're speaking
TV
my
coded.
language now. Let's go. Starting at $10 million.
Let's get a Wander.
Let's put ramp in there.
Let's get some bezel. Let's get some AdQuick stuff in there. Let's get Melania sleeping on an 8 sleep.
Let's get her in a NASCAR jacket.
Let's get her buying
just with brands everywhere.
Let's get her buying her own token on public.com.
There we go. Yeah. I want just sponsors everywhere. I want a
like those
ticker
glasses
at the bottom.
All the interviews you can do, like the glasses that have like the ad overlay.
I'm thinking of it's New Year's 2000, 200. And you look at the zeros, but it's like some brand
sponsored.
I like that. Yeah, maybe some stick-on face tattoos.
Has Melania ever attempted a beauty brand? Because that's sort of like if you're a big female celebrity, launching beauty products which are have better margins than software that are widely appealing to a female demographic.
I don't know.
It would be maybe that's up next. Maybe she's the next Kylie Kylie, Jenner, Melania Cosmetics.
If you're looking to get some distribution for your startup and you want to sponsor the Melania film, sponsorships start at $10 million.
Yep.
She was advertising them to prominent CEOs and billionaires who were at the inauguration, according to people familiar with the matter. I love that she's just there, be like, "Oh yeah, it's the inauguration. Like this is so great. Like, let me bend your ear for a second. I
got something you're gonna want to hear about.
I got some good ad inventory for you. Why don't we throw Apple in here? Hey,
I'd love to get the deck.
Yeah, hey Zuck, you're here. Why don't we advertise the Meta Quest? I'll just be wearing the Meta Quest the entire time.
5-second feature, just sort of like panning across your product, $10 million, ramps up to $50 million if you want her to actually
really
hold the product and talk about it.
Why not?
I would love a podcast style ad in the documentary. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt. I hope you're enjoying the documentary.
This is what I want.
Today's this has been sponsored by Athletic Greens.
Yeah.
Athletic Greens is a great way, fantastic way to get your daily greens in an easy to mix and drink, shake.
Hey, thanks for watching the early life section. This Act 1 is sponsored by
Yeah, you can really fit a lot of ads in that bad boy.
Yeah, sponsored by Honey. Buyers would get thanked at the end of the credits and be invited to the premiere. These overtures were made independently of the deal with Amazon. Thanked at the end of the credits.
It's so funny. The Melania's agent is when they're producing the film being like, all right, so odd request, but we have to have her driving a Kia or a Hyundai. Ideally the Kia though, because they're willing to spend 10 and Hyundai low bid it with a $5 million offer.
I love it.
Amazon's just like, wait,
you
what?
know that this is like actually how Hollywood works.
Yeah.
Like I talked to a guy who was like very early on in like the Kim Kardashian world, and what he would do, how he would make money, is he'd say like, hey, Kim Kardashian, we got to deal with you. Range Rover wants to do like a Caught in the Wild spot with you.
Yeah.
So just drive to this location, get out. I'll have the paparazzi guys there. We'll take the photos, and Range Rover is going to send you a check for $50K. And she'd be like, "Great, okay." I just drive to my local like Target.
I just go get gas,
and I'll just wear. And then what he would do is he would go and be like, "Hey, Nike, I'm going to have her wearing Nike. It's $50K. Hey, Target, she's going to be parking outside of Target. Pay me $50K.
Yeah.
Hey, Starbucks, she's going to be carrying a Starbucks. Pay me $50K." And then he would take the $150 and only give her $50, and they got in a huge lawsuit. I think it was like very dramatic.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
But
he's like, you should wear Nike today. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know how true that story is. I think it might be kind of apocryphal.
That's
but you can imagine that like you could sell multiple slots like that. You know? Anyway, so the Amazon deal is just one of the new ways the First Family has benefited from its return to the White House. Companies have directed about $80 million to members of the Trump family and the Trump Presidential Library so far as defendants settle lawsuits the president previously filed against them, and corporations enter into new business ventures, including the documentary. This figure doesn't include potential gains from crypto pursuits. Yeah, of course, because it would dwarf everything else. Much of the legal settlement money will go to a fund for the president's library, a not-for-profit whose mission is to preserve and steward Trump's legacy. But Trump's share of a $10 million settlement Elon Musk's ex agreed to this week is expected to go to him directly, according to people familiar with the matter. And of course, that was from the deplatforming stuff, which does have some legal basis, but also it's like as soon as Trump won and the new owners of the platform were like, hey, we like this guy, they all shelled out. If Trump had lost, it would be interesting to see where those settlements shook out. The pace and volume of the family's money-making efforts so far are unprecedented, surpassing even the activity of Trump's first term, which drew condemnation from ethics watchdogs and congressional Democrats. Yeah.
Usually, I mean, historically, it seems that presidents have waited until after the presidency to really run it up. But one of the challenges with that is you just have way less attention.
You know the story of Jimmy Carter?
No.
He owned like a share in a peanut farm, and he divested because he was like, I wouldn't want the American people to think that I'm like in the pocket of Big Peanut.
Big Peanut.
And so I'm just going to wipe my hands clean of the peanut farm.
Big Nut.
And I'm just here for the American people. One-term president, not exactly remembered as one of the greatest to ever do it.
Yeah.
Although I was a big fan for a long time because I thought that he could make a run as a second term. It's been, 40 years? He learned a lot.
A lot of people thought even last year he might make a run at it.
It would be great. I mean, Biden was 80. Why not get a 99-year-old?
That actually was a very enduring meme that seemed to be resonant with every American. That anytime he would do anything, people would be like, he's running.
That's literally because of me. I'm the one who started that meme.
No way.
I'm not kidding. Yeah. I have like 5,000 likes on one of the first like Jimmy Carter should run memes.
Really?
Yeah. Because I thought it was hilarious because I figured it out and I was like, wait, there's no age limit and he's a one-term president. And so it was kind of a funny way to poke fun at the fact that like everyone that was running was in their 80s. What's the point of not having like a 99-year-old?
So Calder in the chat says Billy Carter did launch a beer.
He did?
Cool.
Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, you have to imagine that Trump can and
did you
probably
just call him Billy Carter?
Well, that's what is it?
Jimmy Carter.
Oh,
Jimmy Carter's the president.
Calder's in the chat said Billy Carter.
I don't know who Billy Carter is, but
is that? We got
that's hilarious.
I think it might be Jimmy Carter's brother.
I love it. Okay, so
the younger. So here it is. Billy. So Calder was on it. The younger brother of U.S. President Jimmy Carter promoted Billy Beer.
Yeah.
And Peanut Lolita.
So why are we getting mad about Trump coin and Melania coin? This is like
there's a precedent here.
This is as old as time. This is how America does business. Come on. This whole article is ridiculous. Like, everything here is like it's completely bog standard. Let's go. This Trump organization, Trump's main real estate and licensing company, last month said the president wouldn't be involved in the day-to-day management once he took office and that the company wouldn't enter into new contracts with foreign governments during his presidency. As part of the ethics plan, the company also hired an external lawyer to assist in developing internal policies to avoid perceived conflicts and said it would donate to the U.S. Treasury the profits it receives from foreign government officials it can't identify at its hotels and other businesses. Trump's investments and assets will remain in a trust managed by his children, and Trump will have limited access to the company's financial information.
Managed by his children who are with him 24/7 and doing his bidding at all times.
And living in the White House, basically.
Yeah.
Who knows? And unlike in 2017, when Trump said his company would forego foreign deals with both governments and private partners, the Trump organization remains open for business with foreign companies. The top of the Trump Organization website reads, coming soon, a preview of Trump Organization's global portfolio expansion. Very fun.
An absolute dog. He really is setting a new precedent, and he will basically be the bar in which future presidents, I don't think JD Vance, even if he wanted to, if he was the next president, would be at all capable of monetizing this well. It's even if you're not supportive of the extreme monetization of the White House, it's certainly done in a very impressive way. Multi-product strategy. Trump could take Trump Holdings public right now at probably $100 billion valuation, right? If you just looked at the sort of like collective earning potential at the various business lines. But
he really tried to do a lot of this early in his career with like Trump Stakes, Trump University, and it just seemed like he was like early on all that, and like maybe it would work better now.
The original Alex Hormozy.
He was.
The original Andrew Tate.
That's more like it. I mean, Hormozy doesn't really pump his own companies. He doesn't really say like, go to my gym, right?
Yeah.
But Tate is much more like it. But I think this is just
the other thing. I don't know. This was in the news today. Apparently, the Trump admin is putting pressure on the government of Romania to try to reduce the Tate brothers like travel restrictions because they're basically apparently locked down. Yeah. PMF or die style. They really kind of wrote the playbook for PMF or die. Anyways, back to the article.
Okay. The Trump organization sells merchandise, including a $95 ornament with a 3D depiction of Mar-a-Lago and a $550 gold Trump branded bling clutch. Trump also licenses his names to companies selling, for example, a $100,000 18-karat gold tourbillon watch.
Wow.
The Trump watch is $100K. I had no idea.
I didn't know. They have more of an entry-level watch, too, that's a few hundred, I think, in the sub-$1,000 range.
I think it's a good gift for a VC who's trying to, stake their claim as a right-wing influencer all of a sudden. Put it all on the line.
Yep.
Show us. What do those fees really got? Show us that you got the watch.
Well said.
The Trump Organization, meanwhile, has been in talks to reclaim its hotel in D.C., the lease for which the Trumps sold in 2022 for $375 million. I believe that's
they sold the lease, just the lease.
Yeah.
The right
probably
to occupy
really
the space.
Long,
I'm
lease,
sure it
like
was
good rates.
Long term, but
yeah, I think it's the Waldorf Astoria. I'm not sure about this, but I think that when Trump became president in 2016, he took over the Waldorf Astoria, owned it, and then it was like his spot basically.
That's
which is so crazy.
It's such a way to put you're coming to, let's say you're coming from anywhere in the world to meet with Trump.
Yeah.
If you don't stay at the hotel, it's very obvious. Imagine being like, oh, let's just meet at my hotel.
Yeah.
And then, oh, you're not staying there? Like, what? Just come down from your room. Like, let's just do this right now. And they're like, oh, I'm actually at the Four Seasons.
Yeah. No, the Waldorf
meeting
is
canceled.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful hotel. It's like this big, it's like this square with like, there's like views on the inside basically.
Yeah.
It's like a big empty open hall. It's very cool. We've talked about this before. Don Jr. joined a series of corporate boards, which sent those companies' stocks soaring.
Crazy.
Even Trump's youngest son, Barron, has shown interest in following in his father's deal-making footsteps. The 18-year-old and two others registered an entity in Wyoming called Trump, Fulker, and Roxborough, which one of the partners described as a high-end real estate development company. The entity was dissolved in November after much press attention. Interesting. Damn. I wonder what Barron will wind up doing. I'm excited for him to start going on the pod circuit. You know he's going to drop some crazy stuff eventually.
Crazy.
So, there's so much stuff. There's so much stuff in here.
Does it get into any of the? They had I think Don Jr. has been very involved with some, and Eric Trump have been involved with some Ethereum related cryptocurrency project.
I don't think there's much Ethereum in here. There's a little bit about
Don
Meta.
Jr. was literally posting saying, you're going to want to buy Ethereum. Trust me.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That was insane. So Meta also had a lawsuit filed over deplatforming Trump because they suspended his Facebook account after the 2021 riot at the U.S. Capitol. The quote is, the Meta founder wanted everything to be, quote, kumbaya going forward. And so Meta agreed to pay $25 million, which is like what they make in 5 seconds, with $22 million going to the Trump Library Fund. I'm like getting extremely pumped up about this library.
Yeah,
I love presidential libraries just generally.
Yeah.
I think they're amazing. I think that they are.
What's the one nearby? Is it
cool. It's the Reagan one.
Reagan.
It's close because he was in California. So I don't know the Trump Library. Would that be in Florida or New York? It could be kind of anywhere. But I mean, presidential libraries are it's amazing. You get a new like historical monument and a new library that can put on all sorts of different stuff, and it just acts as this amazing collection. It's not entirely just about like the individual. It's also like also just like a place that you can visit and go, and it's an activity. It's really cool. And so the move also had an upside for the social media billionaire: better relations with the new president, with whom he met in the White House 2 weeks after his swearing in. Meta declined to comment. ABC News also paid up. Disney paid $15 million weeks after the election to resolve a defamation lawsuit. So as soon as Trump got in, they're like, "Hey, let's clean up all these lawsuits. We'll pay. We'll pay. We'll pay. If you lost, it'd be another thing, but." We don't want to go to court with the president.
Yeah.
Settlement and talks. So X settled for $10 million. There's now, in recent months, Trump's lawyers have pursued settlements with Paramount Global over a CBS News interview with former Vice President Kamala Harris and with publisher Simon & Schuster and author Bob Woodward. They're suing everyone. They're suing, I think, CBS for editing the Kamala interview down a little bit and taking out something and kind of like making her look better, and they're framing it as like that was a
voter manipulation.
Yeah, kind of. It was like an in-kind donation, or like it helped her do better in the election. So they should have to pay for that. Then they're also pushing for a settlement with Google over deplatforming Trump's YouTube account. I mean, they're going after everyone that kicked him off. They're going to come for Pinterest soon.
Yeah,
everyone.
I do think it's interesting, right? If you look at the last however many years, it does seem that deplatforming Trump was just unilaterally a bad decision. At the time, there were some real reasons that people believe that was the right decision, and clearly there was close coordination with big, tech platform CEOs to sort of do it collectively, right? We've talked before that he got kicked off of Pinterest.
Yeah.
You know, you can imagine he's sitting there, you know, mood boarding his next, you know, the next Trump, hotel property. Suddenly his Pinterest account is gone. He's like, you know, but it was very wide reaching. And I think that in hindsight, you know, bad decision. It's probably good for there to be some consequences for, you know, there should be consequences for decisions. And so, you know, who knows? Hopefully
they're so political. It's
yeah.
If he wins, but of course, when Trump lost and then January 6th happened, it was pretty easy if you were in a group chat with every other big tech CEO, and it's like Sundar and, you know, and Tim Cook and Zuck and everyone else, and they're all like, yeah, this is too far. Yeah. We got to kick him off. Let's all go at the exact same time. No one's saying like, well, but what if he comes back and wins in 4 years? Yeah. No one was steel manning that.
Saying that. Didn't seem viable.
No.
Can you imagine, this data will never be, you know, public, but can you imagine his average legal bill per day to not only fight incoming lawsuits, but the outgoing ones?
Must be insane.
It's probably like $150K incoming, $150K outgoing every single day.
Oh yeah.
So just a carrying cost of $250K per day of just like ongoing lawfare. So gnarly.
Yeah.
So gnarly.
Well,
and that was why, you know, one reaction to the Trump meme coin, we asked somebody, you know, how would you kind of defend this, right? Because a lot of people would say there's zero reason for this. It's purely a money grab. And one person defended it from the lens of, this is a way for Trump's fans to effectively do a wealth transfer to somebody that they love.
Yeah.
Basically in support of like over the last however many years, you've had this taken away from you, this taken away from you. You've dealt with all this stuff. This is a way for the average, you know, Trump fan to just basically give him like $50.
Yeah.
You know? And it's just sort of like a donation in many ways.